special moment for me. Words can't really describe it. I always said that, I would retire a Toronto Raptor, and that was everything. This place is, I call it home.
Kyle Lowry is calling it a career in Toronto. The franchise icon fulfilled a promise he made years ago by signing a one-day contract to retire as a Raptor. Good afternoon. The 40-year-old was introduced by GM Bobby Webster as the greatest Raptor of all time.
Lowry was a pillar of the Raps' most successful era, culminating with the team's only championship in 2019. CTV's Mike Walker joins us live now from Scotiabank Arena with more on Lowry's retirement. And, Mike, that was such a fun news conference this morning.
It sure was, Michelle and Nathan. Kyle Lowry getting the VIP treatment this morning, and it's only fitting that on the 7th day of the 7th month, Lowry, who wore number 7, officially retired a Toronto Raptor. And as you heard off the top of the show, he described this as a special moment and always regarded Toronto as home. Now, Lowry getting a VIP escort to the OVO Athletic Center this morning, where he signed a one-day contract marking the end of a 20-year NBA career. Lowry fulfilling a promise he made years ago that he would retire a Raptor. He played 9 seasons in Toronto, was a big part of the Raptors' first NBA championship in 2019, a 6-time All-Star, and holds a franchise record for steals, assists, 3-point field goals. And today, the Raptors announced they will be retiring number 7 this season.
Special moment for me. Words can't really describe it. I always said that, I would retire a Toronto Raptor, and that was everything. This place is, I call it home. I mean it through and through. Everything about the city of Toronto, the country of Canada. It's done special wonders for me, and I appreciate it.
Watching him play basketball, stirred everybody's heart. And I think he played a brand of basketball that very few in the NBA have matched. Every possession for him was life and death. Every opposing player's drive was a new chance to take a charge. I think every post-up attempt on him, was destined to be a miss. And so in many ways, I think of the franchise before Kyle and sort of after Kyle's arrival.
Outside Scotiabank Arena, Raptors fans are proudly wearing their Kyle Lowry jerseys today. The city also declaring today Kyle Lowry Today. And it was also announced that Lowry and his wife are taking an ownership stake in the Toronto Temple. Here's more from fans, including Raptors superfan Nav Bhatia, who was hoping Lowry would stick around for one more season.
I think he's probably one of the greatest Toronto athletes that we've ever had. Probably top 2 for me. The culture shift, everything, taking charges.
Kyle Lowry means everything to us. Obviously, he was one of the players that helped us bring our first championship, and given that, the Raptors have been around for over 20 years, over 30 years, he finally brought what truly matters for us with the championship. So, yeah, we're forever grateful for Kyle Lowry.
Heartbeat of the team, and I don't know why he's only signing for one day and retiring. I think he should do one-year thing with Kawhi back, him there, and who knows who else back there. I think we have another very valid shot of getting the second ring.
Wouldn't that be something nice? Now, Kawhi Leonard was spotted at today's announcement, but the Raptors are yet to confirm the trade that would see him return to Toronto. As for Lowry, he becomes the second player in franchise history to have his number retired, joining an exclusive club with Vince Carter. Reporting live on Mike Walker. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. From basketball to the World Cup's round of 16, which is set to wrap up today, along with the final game to be played here on Canadian soil.
Switzerland and Colombia will face off in Vancouver at 4 p.m., while fans of Argentina and Egypt are already cheering on their squads. CTV's Jessica Smith joins us now from Stacked Market, where fans have gathered to take in the match between the defending world champs and their African rivals. Jess.
Honestly, Nathan, the vibes are high. Some cautious optimism on both sides, but lots of excitement as we get into the knockout rounds even further. I've got fans who are representing both teams. So what brought you out today?
I just want to chill out with my friends watching our big game today. I think it's our first time to go to round 16 for Egypt, so we are so excited to watch it today.
And for you guys, it's a beautiful day, but what brought you out?
Just cheering with the community, having a good time.
Obviously, repping Messi, but what do you want to see happen today? This is historic for him no matter what happens, but what do you want to see happen?
I'm hoping a hat trick again.
So you're cheering for who?
Messi, Argentina.
And for you, who are you cheering for today? Do you have a favorite player on Team Egypt?
Mo Salah for sure.
So a score prediction. I know it's tough to know
how. Prediction. So I expect Imam Ashur, Mo Salah, and who else? Maybe 2 goals for Imam Ashur today and 1 for Mo Salah. Never know.
I mean, whoever wins is going to be historic. A score prediction on your side?
I'm thinking a 2-1.
You know, it's going to be close no matter what. The game quite literally just started. I know we're all trying to do the interview, but like watch the screen at the same time. But this is a great place to come. It's free. Is that kind of why you want to come out, to just celebrate with everybody?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I'll let you guys get back to it. We're trying hard, Nathan and Michelle, to focus on this, but we're also looking back up there. But the game just started. We're about 4 minutes in. I guess go Argentina?
Yeah.
Or go Egypt?
Egypt, yep.
All right, we'll send things back inside to Nathan. Lots more FIFA to come today.
All right, fans, very polite. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Still to come, we'll have more on last night's World Cup matches, including the U.S. being knocked out of the tournament. That's a little later in the newscast.
Toronto Public Health says 39 heat-related emergency visits were reported by local hospitals during last week's 5-day heat wave. Environment Canada issued severe heat alerts for most of southern Ontario, including Toronto, from June 30th to July 4th. Toronto Public Health says the most ER visits due to heat were reported on July 2nd with 15. However, the agency says emergency room data does not capture all of the health effects linked to extreme heat, like worsening cardiac and respiratory conditions.
We have more news in a moment, but first, here's a live look at the city this afternoon. No heat alerts or warnings on this lovely day, but it's still hot out there. Great conditions to be perhaps on a patio or by the water watching the game. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a check on the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, you're right, Nathan. It's already hot out there, and it's already quite humid. At Pearson Airport, it feels like 30. It has for the last hour or so already, and it's feeling like 33 in places like London, feeling like 35 in Windsor. So that humidity, as you mentioned, the heat warning is no longer in place, but still feels like summer out there. We do have an east wind once again today. So look at the difference. Oakville and Burlington, 19 degrees at this hour. The winds are fairly light. They're not particularly gusty. We do have some cloud cover that we are expecting will clear as the afternoon goes on. So later today and currently right now, UV index of 8 or very high in most parts of southern Ontario. So even if it is a little bit cloudy where you are, don't forget the SPF. There's our day at a glance. 28 degrees is going to feel like 34 at the height of the afternoon. Coming up, we'll take you through the forecast for the rest of the week and give you an idea when some rain could move in. But for now, Michelle, sending it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. A man is fighting for his life following a crash in Brampton. Police say the man in his 20s who was riding an e-scooter collided with another vehicle in the area of Allendale Road and Benton Street around 10:45 last night. He was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries. The driver involved remained at the scene. Peel Police's Major Collision Bureau has taken over this investigation. Meanwhile, police from across the province gathered in Mississauga this morning.
They announced the results of Project Erase, which aims to put the brakes on street racing in Ontario. CB24 Steve Ryan joins us live from the Mississauga OPP detachment with more on this. Steve.
Nathan and Michelle, Project Erase is a policing initiative targeting, as you mentioned, street racing, dangerous driving, speeders, and it's done collaboratively once a year for about 3 months among police services throughout the province. They share intel and they work together as a group. And then after that 3-month period, this initiative is done separately in each police service. And the results are quite staggering. This type of investigation has come a long ways. This is now an investigation whereby it is proactive. The police know in advance where these drag meets are taking place, where most of the speeders are taking place. This is intelligence-led. They share that information, and then they go to that location. They either do the enforcement at the time, or they are able to proactively stop these street racings from occurring. Police said today that most of the fatalities and terrible collisions in the province of Ontario, the contributing factor for most of them is speed. So they had a message for speeders today, and that is, if you continue to drive recklessly on the roads and you continue to race on our roadways and highways, there will be enforcement and there will be consequences to pay as a result. We did hear from Peel Police and the OPP at this press conference earlier today, and here's more from the press.
Street racing is among the most dangerous behaviors we continue to encounter. These activities often occur in unsanctioned gatherings and involve drivers traveling at excessive speeds with little regard for the safety of others. The danger, however, is not limited to those behind the wheel. Passengers, bystanders, and completely innocent road users are all placed at risk. People who simply happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
We all know police resources are finite. That's exactly why collaboration is at the heart of Project Erase. Street racing doesn't stop at municipal borders, and neither do we. Through shared intelligence, coordinated operations, and a stronger frontline presence, we respond as one. This multi-layered approach allows us to detect, disrupt, and deter dangerous driving more effectively than any service could alone.
In this past decade, police tell us that 768 lives were lost on our roadways, and they say those lives were lost as a result of speed being the contributing factor. Nathan, I'll send it back to you.
All right, TV24, Steve Ryan, thank you. An investigation is ongoing following a deadly shooting in Scarborough yesterday afternoon. Police were called to Terra View Boulevard near Victoria Park in the 401 shortly before 3:30 yesterday afternoon for reports of two men with gunshot wounds. One of the men was found on Terra View and pronounced dead at the scene. The second man was found on Victoria Park near Shepherd. Now, he was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police have not confirmed whether the two men shot each other, but have indicated the scenes are connected. They also said they don't believe there's any further threat to public safety.
Police are investigating whether impaired driving may have been a factor in a crash near Woodbine and Gerrard. Investigators say a driver crashed into several parked vehicles on Woodbine south of Gerrard just before 2 a.m. 4 vehicles were later towed from the scene. The driver was arrested and taken to hospital with minor injuries. No other injuries have been reported.
Renata Ford, the wife of late Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, has died. Premier Doug Ford confirmed the news in a statement last night, saying his heart breaks for their children, Stephanie and Dougie. He goes on to say they've been through so much at such young ages, and losing their mom is incredibly painful. Our whole family is hurting for them. We ask that people respect their privacy during this very difficult time. A cause of death has not been shared. Renata Ford was 55 years old.
A new poll indicates Olivia Chow continues to hold a lead over Brad Bradford in the race to become the city's next mayor. The Liaison Strategies poll finds 49% of decided voters would support Chow if an election were held today. Meanwhile, 40% of respondents say they would support Bradford, while 10% indicated they would vote for someone else. The survey also finds 60% of people say hosting World Cup matches has been good for the city, while 30% say it's been bad. 63% of people also support hosting more international sporting events.
If the mayor, had the election today, winning by 9 points would be quite a big coup, right? Even winning by 1 point, she gets back into the mayor's office. So we have to look at the big picture, the big trends. And what we're really seeing over the last few months is every month, Brad Bradford is inching higher and higher and higher. So far, it's good momentum for him. For the mayor, it's not that she's doing badly. It's just that it's hard to maintain that support in such a competitive environment, especially when there's only one person running against you.
The poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 3.1 percentage points and is considered accurate 19 times out of 20.
Thousands of core public servants are now required to be back at work in person at least 4 days a week.
CTV's Rachel Aiello has more on why the mandated return is being met with pushback.
Some federal public servants started their work week protesting the start of a new policy, mandating them to be in the office 4 days a week.
It's not actually about doing a better job. It's about being seen to be there to check off a box on someone's list.
It's one more day than was already required, and workers say it won't make them any more productive.
I'm coming into the office to do basically what I would do at home, and it's just a little bit more difficult because, you know, the person next to me is on a phone call, the person in front of me is on a phone call.
Others said the change complicates their childcare or their commute.
It does eat up a bit of my day, which is kind of annoying.
Several departments don't have enough space for all staff to work comfortably, some delaying rolling out the new rule.
You can't say we're going to convert a bunch of our buildings to housing, we're going to downsize real estate, and at the same time, we're going to increase the amount of in-office days.
The Treasury Board says the shift to more in-person time is to support the Prime Minister's ambitious agenda. The Finance Minister said it's about efficiency.
We need to bring people back to deliver service to Canadians.
Human resource experts say in the private sector, the trend is also towards more in-office time, but it can result in declining job satisfaction.
You have to really balance the benefits of the flexibility with the costs.
The unions say while their efforts so far haven't stopped the policy from coming into effect, doesn't mean their fight is over. They vowed to continue fighting the government through legal, bargaining, public, and political avenues. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Air Canada is scaling back flights to the U.S. amid high jet fuel costs and lower demand for trips south of the border. 3 routes from Toronto and Montreal to cities in the Midwest will be canceled for a second straight winter. Meanwhile, 3 seasonal routes from Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City to Florida will begin operating in December rather than October. 2 previously suspended routes from Toronto and Montreal to New York's JFK Airport will also be canceled this winter. Air Canada, WestJet, and Air Transat all made cuts to their summer flight capacity as the war in Iran led to soaring jet fuel prices.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is among NATO leaders meeting in Turkey today. The Prime Minister arrived in the Turkish capital earlier. NATO is showcasing a number of military projects worth billions of dollars in an attempt to persuade U.S. President Donald Trump that American allies are following through on defense spending promises. The Prime Minister's office released a statement saying that following a meeting between the Prime Minister and the President of Turkey on the margins of the summit, the 2 nations are launching free trade agreement negotiations. And CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver joins us live now with more from Ottawa. Annie, what more can you tell us about this trip? So some of the developments already.
That's true. So this is a really busy trip for the Prime Minister. Sometimes these NATO summits are several days. This one's just over 24 hours. It's a very quick little trip. And in part, that is because, you know, Donald Trump is throwing quite a shadow over this summit. He's threatened to leave the alliance previously. He's threatened to take over Greenland. And then there's, you know, the fact that there was the war in Iran that he didn't give allies a heads up on. And so he has also threatened and said that NATO, you know, isn't really pulling its weight, that its members aren't spending enough on defense. And so that's really the focus of this summit this year, is having all of the NATO members coming to the table with credible plans to show how they intend to increase their defense spending and how they intend to change that additional spending into more military capabilities. Last year in The Hague, what they decided was that the 2% of GDP target, which Canada just reached, was just the floor. It was just the start. And that all NATO members needed to reach 5% of GDP spent on defense spending by 2035. David McGuinty, the defense minister, was asked today what Canada intends to get out of this summit and what their message is, and here's what he had to say.
We are making significant investments. We've just chosen the submarines. We are building out our economy in this area. We're procuring lots of goods and services. We're rebuilding our bases. We've extended our stay in Latvia by 3 years. We're making massive investments. So to be frank with you, look, there's a dialogue here about NATO coming together. I'm relatively new to this portfolio, but I can tell you in the last 12 or 13 months, the extent to which NATO has come together as a gathering alliance of states is quite remarkable.
So NATO Secretary General asked all of the NATO members to come to the table with credible plans to show how they intended to increase the defense spending. And you heard there McGuinty really highlighting all the things that Canada has done and is doing. And that really is a big part of Canada's message, is that they are spending more on defense. They are increasing their military capabilities in order to be better able to defend themselves and to help out NATO allies. And in addition to all of these NATO meetings, the Prime Minister is also holding meetings on the sideline. He met with President Zelensky, the President of Turkey. He also met with the German Chancellor as well as the Norwegian leader. Of course, a big conversation after yesterday's announcement that Canada is going to be choosing a German submarine company to build new submarines for Canada. Michelle?
So there are a lot of developments on the defense spending front, and this is a whirlwind trip. What are you expecting today?
So one of the big announcements that came out today was the fact that NATO is actually going to be purchasing 10 Global Eye surveillance jets. And what's really interesting about this is previously the surveillance jets that NATO was using were American. These were Boeing jets. Now what's happening is that NATO is actually shifting away from the Americans and is picking a Global Eye, which is largely produced in Canada. The Global Eye surveillance jet is a joint effort between Bombardier and Saab, which is a Swedish company. And this is big news for Canada. It means that a lot of these new surveillance aircraft will be built in Canada. So huge for Canada's GDP, huge for Bombardier, and also a great sign for Canada to be able to show that they are a leader of these global surveillance jets, which Canada itself has just recently purchased 6 of them. So that's a big news. We also know that the Prime Minister met with Zelensky, and there he said around $900 million in short-term, medium-term military funding. He recommitted to the Ukrainian president that Canada stands behind them, and again had some meetings as well with the Germans and the Norwegians to talk, we suspect, more about the submarines that Canada is entering into a contract negotiation with the German company TKMS about. This is a big development for Canada. The contract's worth more than $100 billion to provide Canada up to 12 new state-of-the-art submarines. That again goes directly to the way that Canada can tell its NATO members and allies, including the United States, that Canada is committed to reaching that NATO 5% target of GDP and increasing military capabilities. These submarines, once they're developed and delivered to Canada, will really help Canada be able to protect the Arctic better, especially from threats coming from Russia and China. And it will also mean that they will work better with NATO allies, because Germany, Norway, both NATO allies. But in addition, the actual company itself supplies about 70% of the submarines that NATO members currently have. So there's a lot of interoperability, a lot of opportunity for collaboration, really bringing Canada closer to NATO as well as to the European Union. Michelle?
CTV's Annie Bergeron all over live for us in Ottawa today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Annie touched on this, the PM meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of that NATO summit. Carney says Canada will be announcing roughly $900 million in support for Ukraine.
For medium-term military support, when I say medium-term, in the coming months, both in terms of vehicles, both in terms of munitions and other support, in addition to this vital support for air defense, and then very much in terms of the needs on energy for the winter, but then beyond for the reconstruction and a strong Ukrainian economy that's fully integrated in Europe, fully integrated in the global economy.
The two leaders discussed the latest developments on the ground in Ukraine, as well as ongoing efforts to end the war. The Prime Minister reaffirmed Canada's unwavering support for Ukraine.
A new survey shows Canadian manufacturers are considering moving production south of the border as trade tensions continue between Ottawa and Washington. 42% of domestic manufacturing companies polled by KPMG Canada say they're either looking at shifting production to the U.S. or have already done so. 77% of companies thinking about relocating expect to make the move within 2 years. Results for the survey were taken from business owners and executives at 275 manufacturing companies in May.
We turn to the war between the United States and Iran. The UK military says 3 commercial ships were struck by projectiles today. It happened in the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to halt the flow of traffic, just as countries hope to restore normal shipping there. One of the tankers caught fire after coming under attack. Tehran said it ignored warnings but did not directly claim responsibility. The other 2 vessels also sustained some damage, but no one was hurt. Talks between the U.S. and Iran are on hold.
Prince Harry and 6 others have lost a case against the publisher of the British tabloid The Daily Mail. The Duke of Sussex and 6 other complainants, including Elton John and actress Elizabeth Hurley, sued the tabloid's publisher, Associated Newspapers. They accused the publisher of tapping their phones, intercepting voicemail, and obtaining personal information through deception. The publisher denies the allegations, insisting the articles it published were based on lawful sources who offered information to reporters. All the claims were dismissed by UK's High Court today.
All 3 host nations have been knocked out of the World Cup after the U.S. was eliminated by Belgium.
Oh, Matt Freese could be in trouble here. The U.S. could be in trouble here. It's a shocker of a goal from the coach.
Belgium took advantage of poor American play to beat the host nation 4-1. There was controversy heading into the match after a suspension of the U.S. team's top scorer was lifted by FIFA. The change happening after U.S. President Donald Trump called FIFA President Gianni Infantino and asked for a review. Balogun had 1 shot on target in the match and was substituted late in the game.
Belgium will play Spain in the quarterfinals after the Spanish side beat Portugal yesterday afternoon.
Ferran Torres, we might not need extra time.
Spain beat Portugal 1-0 to advance to the next round. The defeat marks the final World Cup appearance for Portuguese star Cristiano Ronaldo. The 41-year-old stated earlier in the tournament that this would be his final World Cup.
Los Angeles showcased a spectacular burst of fireworks Saturday night to celebrate July 4th, and the display was so bright it could be seen all the way from space. This is what the fireworks looked like from about 400 kilometers above the Earth. The crew aboard the International Space Station captured these images as it passed over California. The orbit over L.A. gave 3 American astronauts on the ISS an amazing view as they celebrated their country's 250th birthday. Lindsay.
Well, as you know, July also came in very hot here in southern Ontario. It's not quite as hot and humid as it was during that heat wave, but this still looks and feels like July to me. Forecast daytime high this afternoon, 28 degrees, feeling into the mid-30s in many areas today. The core temperature record to beat on this day, July 7th, is 37.6 degrees. That's not likely to happen for us today. However, there is more heat coming. We're going to cool down slightly by the end of the week with some showers moving in. But check out that heat wave building over the central U.S. We'll give you an idea of how hot temperatures could be here in southern Ontario next week. After the break, you're watching CTV News at noon. We'll be right back.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Let's check in once again with CTV's Jessica Smith at Stacked Market. Jess, lots of action in this Egypt-Argentina game. Egypt on the board, and we're half hour in.
Listen, very exciting. Messi also had that penalty shot, and when that goal didn't go in, the crowd erupted here. Just your immediate reaction to Egypt being up 1-0 right now.
Amazing. Like, we came here with like the expectation, us being here already is a win. So this is like, mashallah, like we're happy to be here for real.
Obviously the crowd has so much to do with like the vibe and the atmosphere, but what is it like being here with so many fellow Egyptian fans who are just so excited?
It's honestly so surreal. Like, I didn't expect this energy to be here, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I love how Egyptians are showing out for our country. Even though we're playing Argentina, we're doing good so far. It's amazing.
I mean, Messi is not to be played with. Obviously, we know Argentina has a storied past when it comes to the World Cup, but Team Egypt, no slouch, and this is going to be a tough one. What do you think is going to be like the goal to like them winning this? Is it just teamwork? Is it the energy? What is it?
Honestly, it's the fact that we even made it to round 16 is such like a big highlight to Egyptians because we haven't made that in like 1943 or something. But the fact that we're here playing against Argentina, and if we like beat Argentina, that's like gonna be such a...
It's stressful. Favorite part about the World Cup so far? What's it been like for you?
It's been amazing. I mean, my country's here. We're here. Like, I can't complain. I was in Egypt, and now I'm watching Egypt here. Like,
I'm proud. Emotions are high. Well, ladies, thank you so much. I'll send things back inside to the studio. Lots of excitement, some nerves, some energy, some excitement, but we're having a good time, right?
Yeah, of course.
We'll send things back inside.
Thank you, ladies. I want to be where you are. That looks like so much fun. And it's great to see that even though the games here in Toronto are done, the World Cup vibe and the scene is still happening and people coming out.
Yeah, it was for me a little sad that it was done here, but when you realize that there's still more games to watch and so many fans are still just glued to the sets, it makes it more exciting.
Yeah. We've said it before. We're in the best city for this because we're so multicultural. We have so many fans from different countries, and I'm enjoying watching those fans watch the game. So this has been great, and there's still more to come. The weather, perfect today for an outdoor watch party. Do want to remind you that FIFA Fan Fest is not open this week. It will reopen this weekend. But if you're thinking of venturing out to perhaps a patio this afternoon or maybe to play a little round of football yourself, conditions look good, albeit a little hot. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers, you don't pay unless they win. This morning, we did have a little bit of cloud cover. This was the view from our CTV News chopper, and you can see the cloud a little low on the horizon there. An interesting shot for sure. As we progress throughout the day today, we do expect more of this cloud cover to continue to clear. And with that, the temperature is likely to go up. Humidex values are already high, but you can expect that it's going to be feeling pretty muggy through the afternoon also. We're still at 24 degrees right now at Pearson Airport. It does feel more like 30. If we hadn't had that heat wave last week, this would have felt like a hot day. So it is all relative, isn't it? And this evening, this is a little snapshot of what 6 p.m. looks like. Still 27 degrees, feeling like 32, sunny skies, and an east wind once again. Sunset time tonight, 9:01 p.m., and then we will enjoy a clear sky through the overnight hours and a forecast low of 19 degrees. So nice to be back below that 20-degree mark. Tomorrow, though, it's another hot one. 30 degrees, humidex 38. Going to feel very muggy in the afternoon, tapping into a bit more of a southerly wind this time. Mix of sun and cloud. A great day once again to perhaps head to the beach, head to your local splash pad. Near 30-degree highs across the board. Tomorrow, Caledon, Ajax, Innisfil, all forecasting highs right around 30. And of course, that's not even the whole story. It is likely to feel into the mid or even upper 30s, depending on where you're joining us from. There's some of that cloud cover that I mentioned, and you can even make out that east wind as the cloud drifts toward western sections of southern Ontario. We do expect that it's going to be a dry day today, but we do have to talk about the potential for some wet weather, especially as we make our way into Thursday here in the GTA. But if you're spending some time at the cottage, you might see wet weather before then. So there's midnight tonight. Perhaps some showers or storms developing in and around Bancroft. By tomorrow evening, scattered wet weather to the east of Georgian Bay. And then for us, it's morning for areas north of the GTA. By about lunchtime, we are getting into showers, periods of rain, perhaps some embedded thunderstorms. Could see some lingering showers into your Thursday evening as well. And then Friday, it's possible that it still could be a little cloudy, a little unsettled. So we're calling it a chance of showers right now. I do hope we're going to see some sun as the day goes on. Slight dip in temperature for both Thursday and Friday, but the weekend at this point looks dry. It looks warm, highs of 28 degrees, and then some heat is going to start to build back in for next week. There's an early look at Monday with a high of 30 degrees, feeling into the upper 30s once again, and a little more heat in store after that too. That's the weather for now. Nathan, back over to you.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. With just 7 hits in their past 3 games, the Blue Jays hope to get their offense going when they continue their series with the San Francisco Giants tonight.
Maybe even off. High and deep to left center. Kaz Okamoto has hit it out.
Kazuma Okamoto's make that 20th homer of the season was the only bright spot for the Jays last night. They lost the series opener 10-1. The team's been outscored 25-1 during their 3-game losing skid. First pitch for tonight's game is set for 9:45 Eastern in San Francisco. You're watching CTV News. We've got more news after the break. Stay with us.
GO trains arrived in Stratford yesterday for the first time in years.
CTV's Jeff Pickle has more on the return of the Stratford extension.
The first GO train returning to Stratford after after a 3-year wait, bringing passengers who are already giving it positive reviews.
Well, Go was great because I didn't have to drive, so there was like no traffic stress at all. It was fabulous.
GO Train first came to Stratford in 2021 during a COVID-era pilot, but that was shut down in 2023. A return that Metrolinx has said is here for good.
I like driving, but sometimes I just like to sit back and relax and, listen to a podcast, take a nap.
The ride more than just a pleasant trip for some.
I had to go to Toronto for a doctor. I've been going for 2 or 3 years, and we usually go to Kitchener.
Catch the GO train there and come back there and have somebody pick us up, bring us back to Stratford. So this is wonderful.
Departing Stratford at 6:15 in the morning, the train moves down the Kitchener line and arrives at Union Station just before 9 a.m. The return departs Union just before 5 p.m. and pulls into Stratford at 7:30. The train a major hit for passengers and for some potential first-time riders.
It's cool. I know it used to be here, but now it's been gone for a couple years. So, I mean, getting this little girl on a train too would be kind of cool from our hometown. Why not, right?
For the mayor of Stratford, this means good news for tourism and also people and businesses who want to call Stratford home.
We know that individuals that are thinking about Stratford as maybe a business entity or thinking about Stratford as a new home, this might, open the door for that for sure.
GO trains also run on the weekend. The city says they hope to add more trains in the future. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
Climate change and urban sprawl are having an impact on wildlife, with more animal sightings closer to people's homes.
Now a young boy from Markham is working on a solution. CTV's John Venevali-Rao has the details.
Just above the playhouse there where my kids used to play.
What Kathleen Miller saw in her backyard recently truly surprised her.
Shocked because I've never seen a bear, first of all, but never seen a bear around here.
Up in a tree, this black bear that she snapped photos of behind her house in the Stouffville neighborhood on the outskirts of Toronto, where there have been several local bear sightings in recent weeks, and this one came a little too close for comfort.
And he was just hanging in the tree looking really comfortable with his hands and legs down.
After 3 days, provincial officials came and caught the bear and relocated him. The latest wildlife encounter in the burbs. Coyotes have also caused problems of late, including an attack in this playground in Whitby, Ontario, on Sunday evening that saw a 2-year-old get bitten. This 8-year-old in Markham heard about the incidents and learned wildlife is losing space to people, creating conflicts, so he decided to act.
I wanted to find a solution for this problem by using technology, so I decided to make an app.
Buhan Sayuran, who has some computer smarts, felt there was some urgency, so he turned to artificial intelligence to assist him with creating an app that he thinks could help.
I wanted to use AI because AI could help us solve problems much faster than coding, because coding would take maybe weeks for me. So then I decided to go with AI.
In a couple of days, the youngster, who's going into grade 4, created Urban Wild Watch, a site that lets people report animal sightings so others can be aware of them.
You could report any animals, but the main ones are coyotes, foxes, and raccoons.
He says it's been rewarding to see people use his app, and he hopes it'll help protect both people and the animals so that encounters don't end with either being harmed.
Sayuran says his app can be used for locations anywhere in the world, and he hopes more people start using it. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Markham, Ontario.
Still to come on CTV News at noon, Unifor says it's at a critical point for negotiating a new deal with the Ford Motor Company. We'll have those details when we come back.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Unifor, the union representing Canadian auto workers, says it's in a critical week as it works on a new 3-year deal with Ford. Unifor represents roughly 5,000 Ford workers and has been at the bargaining table with the automaker since June 23rd. Union National President Lana Payne says negotiations have been challenging and frustrating ahead of an international deadline set, or make that internal deadline set for Friday. She says reaching a deal with Ford will serve as a jumping-off point for later rounds of bargaining with General Motors and Stellantis.
Diageo, the maker of Crown Royal, says it has agreed to sell its bottling plant in southern Ontario. A spokesperson for the company says that while an agreement for the Amherstburg facility has been signed, details about the buyer will not be released. The plant was put up for sale after Diageo announced its closure, which impacted 200 jobs. In response, Premier Doug Ford threatened to pull Crown Royal off LCBO shelves, but backed down after Diageo agreed to $23 million in spending in Ontario. One of Montreal's best-known music stores is closing after more than 60 years in business.
Steve's Music closed its other locations in Ontario and Quebec earlier this year, but now the flagship store is saying goodbye. CTV's Anastasia Dextrine reports.
For more than 60 years, these walls have echoed with the sounds of chords and riffs, and now the silence is setting in.
It's like losing someone in your family. It's, you know, for the second or third time, I guess that's my first being when our founder, my father, passed away.
Michael Kerman says he took over Steve's Music Store in 2012 after his father died. He's seen it grow as a gathering place for musicians since it was founded in 1965. And he says the stories are too many to count.
ZZ Top were playing. Came out with a stack, like probably the size of a phone book, if anyone remembers what a phone book is, of pictures, and just sat down and was like, we got about an hour and a half before we have to hit the road. Just tell them everyone we're here.
While the memories of surprise signings will live on, Kerman says the move to close is a sign of the times. He says factors like rising costs and instrument sales shifting online have made it difficult to profit. The store announced the closure of its other Quebec and Ontario locations in February. And now in the final days of the last remaining store, the reality is weighing just as heavily on musicians.
There was one story, I was playing a show in Montreal and I left a piece of my gear at home. I just went to Steve's and they gave it to me, and then I went and returned and they're just very musician friendly, and they're always trying to help us. So we were hoping that they would have some of the stuff from the Toronto place because that closed.
I mean, it's nice to have an independent or semi-independent, music store have access to that. And it's so sad that this is closed now.
Kerman says the store's instruments will be auctioned off in the coming weeks, and those interested can find information on their website.
We want everything to have a nice home. Again, they're meant to be played. They're not meant to be, just sitting here.
And as the store plays its final note, Kerman hopes the legacy will help to carry on the tune. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
Coming up, ranking public washrooms in Waterloo. A Facebook group is working to give families insight if they're heading out across the region. A Facebook group in Waterloo is working to start a conversation about the region's public washrooms.
It's focused on highlighting cleanliness and accessibility so people know where to go when they've got to go. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has more.
When nature calls,
a bathroom like this, I'm probably going to give a 2 out of 5.
Amy Perry answers honestly. The mom of 2 is on a mission to review restrooms across Waterloo region.
I am the creator of the Flush and Tell Facebook group, Flush and Tell Waterloo region.
With more than 300 members in less than 3 months, Flush and Tell aims to do just that.
I wanted to create a space where people could talk about the public washroom experiences that they're having in Waterloo region. The rules are simple. You can snap a photo of the facility, but make sure it's clean, no people, and nothing they've left behind. Then post your review to the group so your feedback doesn't get flushed away. We really discourage photos of really gross toilets. No one needs to see that as they're just scrolling through their feed. They have a wonderful accessible bathroom that has gotten quite a bit of attention.
Perry says she has a history of chronic illness and a child with autism. For her, finding a suitable bathroom is more than a convenience. It's critical.
I just know that I'm not the only person walking around with some anxiety around bathrooms.
In my case, my son, he's afraid of hand dryers, right? He's autistic, and so he needs a hand towel. So anything with paper towels is really useful for me.
Peter Cheam posts in the group every few days. In his hunt for the best porcelain throne, he says he's also found community.
We could talk about which washrooms are autistic friendly and which are not, which ones are great for toilet paper and having change stations and being accessible.
As for Flush and Tell's future, members say they hope to feature every loo in the region of Waterloo and help people make informed decisions about where they take and do their business.
It's not just about Google reviews and how good the food is, it's also like how good the washroom is too. That's also important as well.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Waterloo.
All right, you can laugh, but it's a good idea.
I'll never
Do
think
that
of
here, too.
Waterloo the same way. We're looking at some fans there taking in a watch party and beautiful conditions today.
Yeah, any fans enjoying their own hydration break may need to find a facility a little later on today. Great weather conditions, though, for being outside and enjoying the beautiful game. Here's a look at your watch party weather for the rest of this afternoon and heading into the evening. We expect further clearing when it comes to the cloud cover out there. But it is hot, and tomorrow is going to be even hotter. 30 degrees, our forecast daytime high, feeling more like 38. So do what you have to do to stay cool. If your plans tomorrow perhaps include a round of golf or an early a run, I do suggest participating in some of these activities earlier in the day when it might be a little bit cooler. We do cool slightly for Thursday and Friday with some showers in the forecast, but it's warm again for the weekend and becoming hot again early next week. Nathan and Michelle.
All right, good to know. Thanks, Lindsay. And that is it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great day.
All set.